Hello everyone, and welcome to our channel, MooTechie. It's wonderful to have you here as we dive into the fascinating world of biology, making complex ideas simple and understandable for everyone. Today we're exploring the general structure, classification, and functions of carbohydrates. Now let's begin with an introduction to carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are biological molecules composed of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. The term itself means watered carbon, derived from the phrase hydrates of carbon. They are essential macronutrients serving as the primary energy source for living organisms. You can find them abundantly in foods like grains, fruits, and vegetables. Moving forward, let's understand the general structure of these molecules. Carbohydrates are represented by the general formula CxH2OY or CH2NON. They are composed of just three elements: carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. The hydrogen and oxygen atoms exist in a 2-to-1 ratio, which is similar to water. In solution, they form a backbone of carbon chains or rings. The slide shows the generalized carbohydrate formula and ratio, written as CxH2OY, visually emphasizing the water-like composition. Next, let's look at how carbohydrates are classified. Carbohydrates are classified into four main groups based on their degree of polymerization and molecular size. First, we have monosaccharides. These are the simplest form, consisting of a single sugar unit. Examples include glucose and fructose. Then we have disaccharides. These are formed by two monosaccharides linked together by a glycosidic bond. Examples are sucrose and lactose. Next are oligosaccharides. These are short chains containing 3 to 10 sugar units. An example is raffinose. And finally, polysaccharides. These are long, complex chains of many units, often hundreds or more. Examples include starch and cellulose. Now let's explore monosaccharides in a bit more detail. These are the simplest form of carbohydrates, the single sugar units that serve as the building blocks for all other carbs. They have a common formula of C6H12O6, and molecules like glucose, fructose, and galactose are isomers, meaning they have the same formula but different structures. The slide shows simple structural diagrams for each. The glucose diagram depicts a 6-membered ring structure. The fructose diagram shows a 5-membered ring structure, and the galactose diagram also shows a 6-membered ring structure, but the arrangement of the OH groups is different from glucose, highlighting their isomeric nature. All three are labeled with their common formula, C6H12O6. A key point is that these cannot be broken down or hydrolyzed into simpler carbohydrates. Now let's explore disaccharides. These are formed when two monosaccharide units join together through a special chemical link called a glycosidic bond. This is a classic example of a dehydration synthesis reaction, where a molecule of water is removed to form that new bond. Some common examples you'll encounter every day are sucrose, which is our common table sugar, and lactose, the sugar found in milk. Now, the diagram on this slide helps us visualize this. It likely shows two distinct ring-shaped structures representing the monosaccharides. One might be a 6-membered glucose ring and the other a 5-membered fructose ring. They're connected by a central oxygen atom, which is the glycosidic bond itself. You might see labels like GLU for glucose and FRU for fructose, indicating that this specific pairing forms a sucrose molecule. A small H2O or a water droplet might be shown being released, visually capturing the dehydration synthesis process. This diagram perfectly illustrates how two simple sugars become one complex unit. Coming up, we have oligosaccharides. These are composed of 3 to 10 monosaccharide units joined together by glycosidic bonds. They are naturally found in foods like legumes, onions, and other vegetables, with raffinose being a common example. They play a crucial role in cell recognition and cell-to-cell signaling. Often they are attached to proteins or lipids to form glycoproteins and glycolipids. The diagram on the slide illustrates this concept, with a short chain of circles, each labeled with abbreviations like GLU for glucose, FRU for fructose, and GAL for galactose, all connected in a line to represent the short polymer chain. Let us now look at polysaccharides. These are the complex carbohydrates, consisting of long chains of monosaccharides. They can form long, branched, or linear chains. They are classified as complex carbohydrates, which are macromolecules. Some, like starch in plants and glycogen in animals, are used for energy storage. Others, like cellulose in plants and chitin in arthropods like insects, provide structural support. The slide provides a visual structure comparison, likely showing the different architectures of these molecules. Starch often shown as both branched and linear chains, glycogen as highly branched, cellulose as straight parallel chains, and chitin as a similar but modified structure. Now let's discuss the diverse functions of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates perform many critical biological roles. First, they provide an energy supply. They are the primary fuel source, and glucose is oxidized to produce ATP, our cellular energy currency. Second, they offer structural support. They build cell walls like cellulose in plants, and exoskeletons like chitin in insects. This provides rigid mechanical support, helping to maintain cell shape and integrity. The slide shows a structure comparison, likely placing the molecular models of cellulose and chitin side by side to show their similarities and differences, emphasizing how their structures lead to strength. Moving on to energy storage and metabolism. Carbohydrates are the primary fuel source for biological functions. Let's break down the process step by step. First, carbohydrates are broken down into simple glucose molecules. Next, this glucose is used in cellular respiration to generate ATP, which is the energy currency of the cell. It provides 4 kilocalories per gram for all our bodily functions. And any excess glucose is stored as glycogen in the liver and muscles for later use. This slide includes a simple but effective diagram that visualizes this journey. It shows the word carbohydrates leading to glucose, which then flows into cellular respiration and finally results in ATP with the word energy right beside it. It's a clean visual summary of how we turn food into usable fuel. Now let's shift our focus from energy to something equally important: structural functions. Next, we explore the structural functions of carbohydrates. These are the molecules that provide strength and stability in organisms. The slide has a heading that reads Structural Comparison, Cellulose in Plants versus Chitin in Exoskeletons. So what do these do? Cellulose is famous for strengthening plant cell walls, giving plants their rigid form. On the other hand, chitin forms the tough exoskeletons in fungi and arthropods, like insects and crustaceans. Together, they provide rigid mechanical support to various life forms. This crucial role helps maintain cell shape and integrity, allowing plants to stand tall and insects to have their protective shells. It's fascinating to see how one type of molecule can be both the fuel for our cells and the building blocks for physical structures in nature. Finally, let's cover some other important functions. Carbohydrates help regulate blood glucose and insulin metabolism. They participate in cholesterol and triglyceride metabolism. They facilitate cell-cell recognition through glycoproteins. And they even form a structural component of our genetic material, DNA and RNA, as ribose sugars. That brings us to the end of our lesson on carbohydrates. Thank you for watching our presentation. We hope you found it enlightening and easy to follow. Thank you. See you in the next class.